It's quite the honor to be the first guest on the Bow podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Well, okay, let me do the intro. Everybody,
Okay.
welcome to the Balvarine show. That's my intro. We cannot afford editing for sound effects, so I'm going to do the sound effects myself. I don't think I'm going to do any more sound effects. So, we
Man,
who we
that's
have here today
viewers
is
lost.
today we have Corporate Serf. He is one of my friends. He is an AIM nerd scientist and grinder, and he's a great aim coach, and not just aiming for Kovacs, Aim Beast, Aim Labs, and video games like Apex Legends, but he is also just a cool dude in general. I talk to him all the time about just like random stuff. And every time I talk to you, man, I'm like, man, I think this would be valuable for somebody else, you know?
Thank you so much for the intro, by the way. That's awesome.
Okay, so you've been aim training for about 3 years now. I think you're at your 3,000 hour anniversary. Is that right?
Yeah, today, yeah.
That's great. Congratulations. 3,000
Thank you.
hours. It's amazing. A dedicated practice.
It's weird because I started on controller,
Hmm.
oddly enough, which I don't think a lot of people can say. So I have like 2,900 mouse and keyboard hours, but 100 in there on controller.
Yeah, so you started on controller and then you switched to obviously M and K, mouse and key. Just to provide some context, when I first started watching your videos, yes, you talked about like cool aim training techniques and just like aiming in general and how to improve your aim and Kovacs and stuff. But the thing that really stood out to me was like um, aim training had become a centerpiece in your life and it
Yeah.
seemed to have affected you. So my first question ever in the Balvarine podcast is what does aim training mean to you in your life?
Wow. That's we could I feel like I could take this a couple different directions because it's honestly that's a solid assessment that it has been a centerpiece in my life. Um Truthfully, what it means to me is self-improvement. Watching myself grow in some aspect. So before I started aim training, I was really big into lifting and like going to the gym. I wanted to see, myself get stronger. But also I wanted to see myself, invest in something longer term. Um, but getting to the gym, I mean, it's a little bit expensive. It's a little bit taxing on myself just because I have certain other like health stuff. So over time, I kind of shifted that desire more into video games. And when I saw that there was this mismatch between who I wanted to be and the skills that I felt that I needed. Aim trainers kind of took that spot and kind of took hold. And so from that standpoint, aim trainers are this way that I can invest in myself and watch myself grow. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much what it means to me.
Sounded like if it was aim training or surfing or kung fu, something would have taken place where you're trying to improve no matter what. You would have
Yeah,
grinded
definitely.
something.
Absolutely. Yeah, I live for the grind.
How has your life changed since you started aim training all the time?
You know, I feel like I'm super lucky that I chose aim training as this venture because it's a super like unexplored kind of niche area. At least it was when I first stepped into the scene. Of course, there's the great people ahead of me that put in a lot of awesome work. There was a Red Bull Ready check right around the point that I started aim training, but really, there's so much that was left open to discover, and so. Honestly, I found a lot of excitement and passion in making aim training my own. And so, hopefully I'm not drifting away from what the question was here, but this kind of community around aim training has been super exciting just for the fact of exploring and setting up opportunities for other people too.
when it comes to the AIM community, when did you start to feel that it was a community, and when did you start to feel that you had a place in it, if you have that feeling at all?
Wow. I really think my first place was TSK. That was where I never really thought that I was gonna be good enough to join a team. Like, when I first joined, I saw teams like, Aimers Plus, RA, Voltaic. There was even teams like WA, which I had applied for and I didn't get into. And so I was kinda bummed at, like, yeah, I like this. I've already put, maybe 500 hours into it, but I don't really feel like anybody wants to claim me as part of their community, at least from like a team perspective. And so then I found out about TSK, and it was like there was these clear set targets that you could hit, and then you would qualify to apply and probably get in. And that's thankfully what I did. I got pre-advanced on the scenarios I needed to for TSK, and I joined. And once I did, I met a ton of really cool people because TSK, it was a niche within a niche. So all these other benchmarks they have, they're tracking and switching, clicking, but TSK was all about smooth tracking. It was very, very specific. And so I was able to really like isolate what my progression was towards and then see where it helped me in other areas. So it was kind of two factor. I got to meet the cool people that were already a part of TSK, but I also got to see how specializing within an area of your aim could have an impact on, everything else that you did. And then the second answer to that, about feeling a part of the community, I was able to join one of Maddie's servers, the Jade Palace, and when I joined, I felt like a fish out of water because there were so many really big named aimers in there, just people that had really cool accomplishments. And I did have some things that I was really proud of, but I felt like maybe I maybe didn't belong. And the first person that kind of reached out to me and wanted to get to know me was Seer FPS, and it was I mean honestly like making that connection with him. Kind of means more than anything else within the terms of like AIM community because he's become one of my best friends, and so I'll shoot a lot of different ideas off of him, and really, I've just gotten to learn a lot from him. He's a coach himself, so um, definitely I would say meeting Seer is probably the part two really great part about being a part of the AIM community because he's shown me a lot about what it takes to be a good aimer, but also what it means to be um, a good aimer in other games too.
Every time I hear somebody talk about Seer from another perspective, like when I hear about him from other people, it's always in the role of him reaching out. I've never heard
Yeah,
a situation where somebody goes to Seer, and I'm sure that happens all the time because he's like how well known he is. But it's really interesting that every time it's like him reaching out to them, even if it's just like a gentle nudge, like, "Hey, what's up? Like, welcome to the
yeah,
community," sort of thing. So,
yeah.
if for the
That's
people who don't know Seer, could you give us a little background on him?
Sure. So Seer, basically, he has been playing Aim Trainers for close to 6 years. I think he told me he started around the end of 2019. Um, and kind of as he described when he started, he wasn't the best. He wasn't very good. He wanted to basically see some improvement after being like a controller competitor in different games. And so taking on mouse and keyboard, he kind of studied under uh, a lot of other good players. Grew, joined some teams like UV and then eventually RA. And then by the time Red Bull Ready Check came around, he was establishing himself as a top level player. He has a really interesting story with the situation that really brought him into Red Bull Ready Check, but he performed really, really well there. And then after that, I mean, all bets are off. He's getting close to like Astra Complete now. Has some of the best like ground reactive and dynamic in the game. So but also, kind of like you mentioned, he reaches out to a lot of people. He invests in the community, and so really, I really respect him a lot and what he's doing.
For people who don't know, we've mentioned a couple, like an alphabet soup of names for different aiming organizations and groups and clubs. The
Yeah.
first one was TSK, which is Tosoku Aim.
Yes.
I think I'm pronouncing it right.
Mhm. Yep.
and their Japanese org, which is run by Tosoku himself, right? Isn't it named after him?
EO, yeah.
Oh, you. Okay.
It it means constant speed, and
Constant
it's
speed.
based around, yeah,
Cool.
benchmarks of that variety.
I didn't know that's what it meant. That's so cool. The we have WA, which is what, worst aimers? Is that the one?
Yep.
Worst aimers?
Yeah.
It's so funny. Maybe they denied you because they're like, no, he's too good.
Ironically, they have so many good aimers in there. But yeah,
Um, and then we have RA, which is Revosect. And then we
yep,
have VT, which is Voltaic. Did we
yeah.
mention anything else?
Aimers Plus.
Oh yeah, Aimers Plus. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
the group that I'm in. So
Yeah,
it's really interesting because like every single one of the orgs that we've mentioned, you were able to join the org and the group, but it's really vague except for TSK. TSK is like the
yes,
only one that's like, hey, if you do this, you're in. It's like an instant
totally.
requirement. Do you think more orgs should adopt that?
Yes, absolutely. I won't spoil anything, but I
Hmm.
have some plans regarding
Mm.
this line of thinking. Because I think in order, of course, being a part of a team and a community is valuable at any level. But I think having more clear paths, not just one set way, but like different recognition of different skill sets, I think is super valuable, and I really want more teams to adopt that.
Yeah, actually, this is a really good segue. This is something I've been wanting to talk to you about for a while because
Mhm.
I think aiming has gone through stages, right? In the beginning, it's just like it was just an aim trainer, right? We had Kovacs,
Mhm.
then we had aim labs, and then aim beasts, et cetera, et cetera. The first stage was like a free for all. We had no idea what was happening, and
Yeah.
then it became a competitive stage, right? That was like the next
Mhm.
generation. That was like Mad Bad Man's era. And then it
Mhm.
became a little bit more official. Then after that, it became more of a science, and people were trying to break it down into
Yeah.
theories, and we were wrong like 90% of the time, but it was cool, like that era of like everyone trying to articulate and explain what good aiming was and how to get better at it. And a lot of
Right.
people came out of that, like Viscose and Maddie and Christmas is Canceled, and those guys, and Bardos, obviously. But then lately, it's become more of like a community, and there's a lot more niche creators now in the aiming space, including you. And there's a lot of people talking about very specific things within the aiming community. In
Yeah.
fact, there's enough, you can tell it's a community because people are reviewing other people's videos, like reacting to it.
Yeah.
That's how you know
Right.
it's gotten bigger. I watched a video, I forgot who it was, but it was like, I tried out Viscose's benchmarks, and
Yes.
I clicked on that. And as soon as I watched that whole thing, there was like three other suggestions of the exact same thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I wonder, what do you think is like going to be like the next evolution of AIM?
Professionalism.
Oh,
I
professionalism.
think I think that the next era of aim training is like stages, LAN, like series competition. I mean, like the next phase is actually starting already with what Emo Aim is doing with their tournaments. Like
Mm.
we really haven't had any organized structure for, hey, here's exactly what you need to qualify for a tournament. This is the date that we're playing. Go get these scores, turn up. Here's some prize pool. We had our first. They had their first one last week, which didn't have a prize pool, but it had commentators, everything like that. And then now there's a full-on tracking competition that's going to be the qualifier ends April 3rd, and then the date is after that. But there are three set tasks that you do: precise, control, reactive. If you score high enough, you're in the tournament, and there's a prize pool. We're seeing that on like an internet stage very soon within the year. That's going to be much more frequent at a LAN. Um, and I think there's going to be multiple different levels of that too. So we saw Ness. Ness Eilish basically wiped the floor in the first run. She was playing Hebe. I always say his name wrong. I'm sorry, but
Mm.
those were the clear cut two best aimers in the tournament, and they had their little finale. Um, the the level of competition is going to rise for them, but it's also going to rise for everyone else. So I think that there's going to be more amateur tournaments, everything.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about trying to sponsor a tournament or something like that just to see what it was like. You know what's funny is
Yeah,
I think you're right. And I think it's also going to be kind of a Wild West. I think it's going to be a golden era. Like 10 years from now, we're going
yeah,
to look back on it and you're like, remember when we had no idea what the fuck we were doing? Yeah. And you're like,
yeah,
we're going to look back on
absolutely.
this era fondly. So I really want us to enjoy it. And there's going to be, I think there's already some of it already, but there's going to be crazy drama for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's going to be like
as long as
people
there's
are going
aim
to be
groups.
arguing over like technique or meta or
Mhm.
whatever, you know?
Yeah, you see it already. I mean, that idiot corporate surf, he had the static meta, just static technique. But as long as there's an aim group, as long as there's prize money, as long as there's any form of,
Yeah.
competition and ranks, there's bound to be banter. I definitely think there's more to come in that respect.
Yeah, I think there is going to be something else that coincides. I think it's going to be two main branches of evolution, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I think you're right. It is going to be on the world stage, like in terms of popularity. I think there's going to be more tournaments and stuff. But I think something subtly is going to happen, and it's already happening. I think the conversation and of aim becoming a form of expression, not art, maybe
Yeah.
artistic, I don't know, but some form of expression is going to be
Hmm.
self-expression is going to be more and more prevalent in
Yeah.
conversations.
Totally. To add to that, you can see it already a little bit in terms of, stylistic aim. So like for me, when I post a video of like my Overwatch gameplay, it's probably the worst thing a high-level Overwatch player would wanna see, because fundamentally, I'm playing it so much different than they probably would. I'm trying to be smooth on these instant accelerating targets. I mean, it looks like I'm playing controller, but for me, that's what's fun. I'm playing slow sensitivity, trying to be smooth. Whereas somebody like Sev or AZ or some of these, top-level Overwatch players, they are flicking, high crit accuracy. Fundamentally, the way that they express their talent is different than what I value. And I think in different ways that's going to be expressed, especially through static and some of those clicking techniques too.
Like when people play even any kind of video game, it's always going to be there's always some form of self-expression, right?
Yeah.
And there's always going to be like when I play rank in Apex, which is rare these days, I always solo queue, and I do not give a fuck about RP. I'm just aiming everybody, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm just there to like carry. And
Yeah.
that's my goal. But other people, they're there to like work on teamwork. And I think it's going to be the same
Mhm.
with aim. Like some people play Overwatch and they're there to work on to get like aim like mellow FPS, to get like really, really
Mhm.
smooth, like long distance tracking. Or yeah, I think it's just going to be a real form of self-expression.
Yeah.
Um, do you see yourself aim training for the rest of your life, or is it going to be kind of a stage? Because I've noticed a lot of people are, I guess, graduating. I don't like
Mhm.
using the phrase graduating out of aim because it seems like they're framing it as if like they're going to real life. This is like a phase in their life, you know.
Sure.
But and
I
that
may
might
have
be the
perpetuated
case.
that term. Yeah. No, I totally get you. For me, I I want to say that it's a lifelong skill. I know that this is something that you've talked about as well. Um, I I just have such a weird process. Things capture my interest, and sometimes it's so extreme that it just takes me away. And there may be a time where I get so invested in Nintendo 64 speedrunning that it's like, that aim training was fun, but I'm gonna play Super Mario or Mario in 64. Respect to all you speedrunners. Sorry for butchering those names. Um, but I do think that as long as I care about video games, aim training is always going to be there for me.
Yeah, it's already like an important part of your life. Either even if it's like you don't do it for a year, you know,
Mhm.
and you end up like pursuing other interests, it's always just going to be
Yeah,
a part of it.
that's what I hope the gym is for me as well. I hope that eventually, I get back into the gym and pick things up there as well.
Yeah. So, do you mind if I turn the conversation a little bit
Yeah.
negative here?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is something I've wanted to talk publicly about for a long time, but I thought it would always be better to talk with another coach about it.
Sure.
And we've had conversations about it before, but the one of the things that um, I've been concerned about with aim training is its association with mental health and
Okay.
as a form of escapism and as a form of um, yeah, as a form of escapism and as a form of a I guess the thing that I keep thinking about is I deal with students a lot, both in Apex and in AIM, who
Mhm.
spend a shit ton of time aim
Yeah.
training, and they spend a shit ton of time playing R5 Reloaded 1v1s, and let's say they're competitors. They're playing competitive Apex. They don't do any
Mhm.
kind of VOD reviewing. They just spend all their time on their mechanics. And what's happening
Yeah.
is they start to feel the sense of real progression in the game, in their aim, but they don't feel any progression in their life. It becomes a sort of escape. It gives them a false
Sure.
sense of progression. Like they get real
Yeah.
progression with their aim, but they're not applying it to anything else in life. Like, what's your
Absolutely.
experience in that? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, personally, I'm super thankful for my space within the AIM scene because that could very well be me. For a little bit of background, before I, you know, had my YouTube channel, like as part of my revenue, I was working at Culver's, fast food in the United States, and um, it was basically what you described of seeing this huge progression within video games and, just like these skills that I cared about. But in my real life, I was stagnating super hard, and eventually, I started posting my progress, and I'm lucky that it kind of blew up, because I would probably still, and it's no knock on that type of position at all. But I would still be within Culver's doing the same thing that I was. I wasn't actively seeking opportunities to grow, to pursue management, to learn other parts of the job, meet more people. I was just clock in, clock out, go play video games. And for somebody that, that video game can be the escape that you were talking about where I hate my regular life, but at least I've got my video games that I can forget about that with. And so like for me, I'm thankful that what I invest now in video games and aim training, I can give back to others, and I can, also use that as part of my coaching and my YouTube platform. But yeah, I definitely see a lot of people that are in a situation that you described where they are progressing in the game, but in real life, it's taking a hit because of just how much they're playing.
Yeah, there's like one student in particular that you and I have talked about in the past,
Mhm.
who uh, it was that exact situation, and then you and I both celebrated when they're like, "Oh, but I got a job,"
Mhm.
and like I'm focusing more on stuff outside of the game. We're like, "Oh, that's so exciting," you know.
Yes,
To me,
absolutely.
personally, a lot of the people that I've coached who grind like 7, 8 hours a day or have done so
Mhm.
in the past, one of my greatest accomplishments and the things that I'm proud of is convincing them to stop playing Apex, is
Yeah,
convincing them to stop aim training because it's clear that the relationship with the game is just not healthy. And
right.
it's not that I force them to do that. It's just that I kind of point some things out and they accept it. And
Yes.
yeah, like my first pro I ever coached, Ruko, one of my closest friends. I just talked to him the
Mhm.
other day. It, he was in pro league. We're doing okay, and he talked to me and somebody else, and he hung it up.
Mhm.
He ended up selling his GPU, his PC. He plays video games occasionally now, but he's happy. He has a job like middle management. He's
Yeah.
like exercising. He has like all these new interests, and
Yeah.
yeah. And I've had a couple situations like that. Have you? when you encounter a student or just somebody that you become friends with in the community,
Mhm.
and you sense that, do you intervene at all, ever, even a little?
It's tough. It's tough because, you don't wanna come across as w I don't wanna come across as hypocritical, that's my personal concern
Yeah,
because I personally put in a ton of hours still. So it's kind of a delicate line of how do you approach that type of situation. There's been only a couple of times that I've actually had that conversation. What it typically involves in is asking questions like, "Hey, are you doing okay? Like, what's your day today looking like? Like, how are you with your goals?" And if they open up to me and like, "Hey, things are actually not good," and we can talk a little bit deeper about the causes behind it, that is a point where I think that there's an opportunity to talk about like, "Hey, maybe these changes are going to benefit you more than where we were at previously." Um, it's very personal, and I think the way that you approach it, you do have to be very careful because it's also like a thing of assumptions. You never want to. For me, I never want to assume that I know where that's taken them,
yeah.
or how well that they can manage that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like diagnostics first, and you wanna spend more time. Yeah, you want more context, and instead
Yeah.
of, like, providing some sort of solution, to see if, like, your intervention isn't just necessary, but it's the right kind of intervention, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, the, yeah, it's definitely been something that I keep seeing, I see it crop up a lot. People will say they're grinding for they grind. And there's like quite a bit of our community that promotes that are like, hell yeah, you're grinding like
Mm,
8 hours a day,
yeah.
but are you improving? you know and
Right.
are you getting what you want out of it? Is this And I think it's always context. Like, is this like some people say like, oh, I'm so passionate about trying to become the best in the world, right? A lot of people will say like,
Hmm.
I'm so passionate, I want to get into pro league, I want to go to LAN, I want to win LAN,
Yeah.
and then after even 10-15 minutes of just like careful questioning, I realize like, oh, this is an escape for them. It's not
Yeah.
that they want these other things, it's that they want to not deal with other things in their life,
Totally.
you know?
Yeah. I've totally been there personally. I'm somebody as well that has kind of perpetuated the idea of passion equals playing a ton. It's especially visible within my snake track. Like I would play when I was working at Culver's, I would play so much that like the inside of my elbow would hurt because I'm pressing down into the pad so hard. My fingers would hurt, and that was super unhealthy. Like that was like totally me escaping um my reality, my life. And so like recognizing that in other people, um, yeah, it has a little bit more importance to me just because I've been there.
Yeah. Well, I do wanna, kind of highlight the positive of taking rest. Like, you and I've talked
Yeah,
about quite a lot about rest, not just, like, intermittent, like, 5 minutes between sessions, you do, like, a 20-minute session, then you
yeah,
take a break or whatever.
right,
But have you found any kind of benefit from playing for, like, a long amount of time, you know? And then, taking a break for, like, a couple of days, a couple of weeks?
totally. Um, yeah, very recently around like mid February, I went on a trip. I was playing a ton before the trip just because I was trying to build some skills, working on touching up on some of my other benchmarks, and I knew this trip was coming, so I probably crammed even a little bit more. And then I went on this trip. It was awesome. I kind of completely forgot about gaming to as much extent as I could. And then when I came back, really without even trying, a lot of those scores and stuff that I was cramming for,
Mhm.
they came naturally. Like it's a lot that day, but within the following days, and it just kind of made me stop and realize, like, oh, um, this rest that I knew was coming, it really benefited me. Like I really needed this, and I think like I have a good understanding of how rest between reps can help me. Like think I'm pretty disciplined about just, taking my time between like rest, and then I'll do like sets where like maybe I'll even take five minutes between a set of 5 runs. That I think I do a great job of, understanding how I can keep myself fresh. But longer term rest, I think that there's a ton of potential there if you just give yourself some time to catch up.
Yeah. I remember one time you said like I was like, "Hey, do you ever take breaks?" You know? And you kind of went silent for a second and you're like, "Yeah." Like not really, you know?
No, yeah.
You'll just get lost in it. I'm not saying like not taking breaks is bad, but the way you aim train, it's like um it's very you're just a dog, you know.
We're
You
going
just
big. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you just constantly pursue like you enjoy the process. Yeah, because there's some
Yeah.
people who I know some people who do push-ups forever, right? And it's like unreal. But to them, it's like they are. It's not that they enjoy push-ups. It's even deeper than that. They are the person who enjoys push-ups.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have to tell themselves to enjoy push-ups. And it's the same thing with like a lot of it has to do with your identity. And I guess we'll talk about it more some other day, but
Mhm.
you you are an aimer. You are the snake track guy. You even like change your name to snake track guy at some point,
Yeah.
right? And so it's easy, like it's automatic for you to like there's no effort. It's not a like we call it a grind. When we say grind, we insinuate effort, but there's like no effort for
Mm.
you to do the thing that you want to do
Yeah.
because it's a joy.
Yeah.
What is your relationship like with video games that are not FPS games after aim training? Like,
Oh
what was it like
gosh.
before aim training, and what was it like after aim training?
Oh, it's always been, oh, this could be the coolest game ever. I would love to play this. Let me collect as many games as possible, and then I will just never play them because I'm going back to an FPS game. Like, for example, when I was a kid, I had a PlayStation 2, and I would collect Madden and, you know, goodness, Jack and Daxter, some of these platforming games. But the game I would play is Ratchet and Clank, and it's not an
Mm.
FPS, but it's just a shooter. And I would play the game, beat the game, and then run it again through on the challenge mode. Um, so even before like online competitive FPS, I'm still all about the action and the FPS. But then going into like Call of Duty, I would collect games like boy, there's some good PS3 games like Infamous and some of those other, like, action-based games, but I'd play them for an hour and think, "Wow, I could have gotten a couple Moabs in Modern Warfare 3 in this time. Let me go back there."
It was
Um,
always in the back of
I
your mind.
Mhm.
FPS games were.
Yeah, I can never help it. Even today, like, if I try to hop into, like, Elden Ring or something, it's like, "Ah, man, but this is like 20 snake track reps I could be getting." I it's probably not the best, but
Well, it is what it is. You know, it's
Mhm.
become if you like it, you like it. There's nothing wrong with it, right? It's
Yeah, true.
yeah, it's like become a part of your life. Like you're gonna die, and you might as well do it doing the thing that you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's like people who are like adults who are like back into Pokemon cards, you know? It's like it's
Mm,
just like a joy. It just brings joy to them. When
yeah.
has so what does the future look like for you in terms of yeah, what does the future look like for you in this space?
Hopefully pretty good. I want to do some bigger projects.
Okay.
I don't have I have a bunch of ideas. But I really want to set some of those concrete goals, concrete markers, kind of that TSK had, for people to push towards. You know, kind of giving them my perspective, but also the opportunity for people to make it their own. So at least from this standpoint of progression, I want to set out some fun stuff for people to strive towards, myself included. And then also, I want to be a competitor a little bit. Doing some of these tournaments, even if I'm not playing at the top level like Ness and Hebe. trying to find my way into some of these tournaments that I can, you know, have some fun in, win some stuff. I think for me that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, you were the guy who had trained all this time, and now you're like, okay, let's see what let's see what I can
Yeah,
do.
let's see what we can do.
Yeah. Do you have your shit talk like prepared? Are you gonna do any of that? You gonna talk your shit at
You
all?
guys didn't grind 3,000 snake track plays? Pathetic.
Okay, so what is one of your biggest regrets from how you train or just aim training in general?
Probably November 17th. Um, that's the
Wait, what?
that's the day I had my tweet about, passion.
Uh-huh.
Um, I had my intentions behind it, but it had a really negative impact on a lot of people. And I feel really sorry for it. I think that paired with how I've interacted with some people and when I feel like I've been disrespected or, basically the times where I've had the chance to be a bigger person and I didn't take that. Because I think at this point, there are people that do look at me, they watch how I act, and, I just genuinely find myself looking back feeling like I wish I could have been a better role model. I wish I could have, done better for myself and better for them.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I go through that all the time. I think the rule that I've made literally yesterday was like, I think I'm only going to post things if they provide value. Right? And it
Mhm.
sounds really
Yeah.
simple. And like of course like no brainer. But I'll point out stuff and like, man, like I'll complain about like the other
Mhm,
day I made a tweet about like everyone wants to grind 8 hours like they're mechanics, but no one wants a VOD review. That was like basically the tweet. And then
mhm,
people were just like kind of pissy in the replies. And it was the same thing with you know, it's there's been quite a lot of tweets where I do that as well, but I'm just like
mhm.
I'm just going to provide value because that's the only kind of conversation that should be I should be perpetuating,
Yeah,
online.
yeah.
And
And I think sometimes you can be agreeable and still not provide value. Um,
exactly.
sometimes there's just these echo chamber topic speaking points, and it's like, okay, yeah, this got the interaction I was hoping for, but I said a whole bunch and said nothing at the same time.
Yeah. What do you mean by agreeable?
You know, I guess it's subjective, but the example I was thinking in my head is like, aim assist is overtuned. I really I don't like playing against controller players up close in Apex Legends. Like most everybody would agree that I'm a mouse and keyboard player up close against a strong controller player, you're probably going to lose. That doesn't necessarily add anything to the conversation, even though most people would have a hard time disagreeing with it.
Yeah, it's a take, and like you don't always
Yeah,
need to have a take. I think
exactly. Yeah.
Miyamoto Musashi stated that in Dokoro, his like 20 something rules for life or whatever. He was like, he said like don't have an opinion or you don't need to have an opinion on everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, even if you just state like I like vanilla, that's gonna, I like vanilla ice
Yeah,
cream,
it's gonna
like
piss some people off.
there's a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always going to be some sort of reaction. And I think like I used to be like, why are people reacting this way? But then I realized
Mhm,
like, oh man, I'm irresponsible for knowing that how people will respond. Like there's
mhm.
a good chance that people are going to respond this way if I say this thing online, right?
Yep.
And that's my responsibility. Like for me
Yeah.
to um
Read the room.
yeah, for me
Yeah.
not yeah, just read the room, like, and and for me to complain that people are reacting that way is like a little stupid, you know.
Hmm.
It takes like no responsibility for it. I remember we were talking, you love to go to thrift stores, and I remember you
Yeah.
said uh, I got 8 Mile, like the DVD. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's such an early 2000s, like not 2025. It's like
Yeah.
2008, 2005, like thing to say. You know?
Yeah. It's part of my desire to consume stories and media and stuff that's gonna make me think. um, because I am the guy that like, I'll start playing a new game and be like, "Ah, I wish I was playing Modern Warfare 3 or playing the Aim Trainer." I feel like because I do that, I kind of miss out on these, like, different experiences, different stories, etcetera, and so when I go to thrift stores, it's like an opportunity for like, "Okay, I'm buying this today, and I'm gonna watch this today." And I didn't do that with 8 Mile, by the way. But it's just kind of like a fun way for me to start thinking about different things. Kind of get outside of my bubble a little bit, see uh, just the different things that people have kind of left for me there. Um, in terms of other entertainment though, the thing that I really like I can always get down with is like strategy TV shows. So one that I've been
Wait,
watching,
what?
yeah,
Okay, okay.
very goofy, but, like, I watch them with my dad and with my family, stuff like, CBS Survivor, but also the Traders on Peacock, like, they're kind of like gamer type, TV shows, like reality-based TV shows. It's kind of cheesy TV at times, but I think, like, I can kind of put myself in the situation of different people there, and it gets me thinking about, like, "Okay, what would I do if I knew that my tribe or my team was down 2 people and I had to convince everybody else that I wasn't worth letting go?" Like, that kinda stuff to me is fun to think about.
Oh man, you would be so manipulative.
Oh, I would be Yeah, I think I'm born for that shit.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, you would be like the wild card for sure. Would you play the heel? Would you be like the villain? Or how would you go about it, you think?
Oh, so the strategy is just don't say anything. Don't say anything. Uh,
Ah.
go make sure that the ideas you have are actually other people's ideas. So like you
Dude, that's
plant the seeds,
I'm seeing a whole different
plant
side of you.
plant plant the seeds of, hey, like what if we did this? But then when they say it, it's like, oh, Jennifer had this fantastic idea, and it's real sketchy stuff. But I think that it would be so fun to play a game like that.
This is that's so
Snake
fucking
Track guy
funny.
proves he's a snake.
Snake track the snake.
Mm,
You know what I think would be fun is if we did something like that, like within our community. You know, we did like the
yeah.
Survivor, like we could do werewolf. Dude, we should play
Ooh,
werewolf for sure. Absolutely play werewolf.
I'm down.
Yeah. We'll get a couple people. I don't know how you would do that on Discord. I'm sure there's like a way to do that. But
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
yeah, definitely do Discord. Have you ever done have you done any kind of like role playing games like Dungeons and Dragons?
I don't know that I have. I've always been interested.
Hmm.
Um, I think Stranger Things, they played Dungeons and Dragons in that one.
Yeah.
Um, no, I don't think I have,
Yeah, I think that's something
but
you
I'd
could
be down.
like. Yeah, you're incredibly
Yeah.
collaborative and like trying to play maybe not a villain, but you know, somebody who's like villainous would be a lot of fun for you,
Yeah, that
you
could be
know.
fun.
Yeah, because you seem to have like a fairly wholesome like personality, but the way you play video games sometimes, you know, I I see you, yeah, you grew up in the shit talk era, you know.
Oh, you gotta let it out somewhere.
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure. The
Using a shotgun? What are you doing?
using a shotgun. I thought you were about to say using a slur.
Oh, goodness. Hopefully not.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, definitely using a shotgun and just like teabagging people. Are you a teabagger?
Oh, I was the worst. So I used to play Modern Warfare 3 with a group of dudes that were like 45 years old, and I literally think like all of them were like ex-military or something.
Hmm.
Which made them very competitive, very hardcore about, "We are playing to capture every single flag." So, domination in Call of Duty is a 3-flag game, and if you capture 2 of them, you can just spawn trap. You just hold your spawns and you win the game. They're like, "Nah, we need to dominate. The name of the game is domination. We're capturing all three flags. And so we would work all game to get all three of these flags. And but then the ticker the time ticks based on how many flags you have. So we get to like 190 points out of 200. They give a countdown. Sandman would be like 190, get your tea back. So literally, they would confirm their tea bags for like, okay, I got a teabag at 193 because in the final kill cam, somebody has to be seen teabagging somebody from the enemy team. They were hardcore.
Jesus Christ.
It was
Wait,
it
were
it
you the
was
young kid in that group?
oh, I was like 14 or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, you
I
were
don't I
are
don't
you
know
still
why
in
they put
contact with
had me
those
in the
guys?
squad. Oh, goodness, no. Um, they were like all PlayStation 3 like game chat warriors. I'm sure that they've all moved on from the game, but they could still be there. But
Listen, as a certified old guy who took some kids under his wing, it's always good to hear from those people like years later, you know?
success stories, yeah.
Yeah, just like, hey, I grew up like growing up and you see these kids who were like prepubescent and then they have like and then you see them like 10 years later. I used to work at a kids camp and I used to work with kids a lot and like throughout the year, like kids camp coaching, like ski instructor, all that shit. And
Mhm.
then you don't see them for 5 or 6 years or even 10 years. And then they're taller than you and their voice is like really low. And
Yeah.
you're just like, oh my God, I'm old. Like, what's going
It's like the cousin at Christmas that grew up.
Yeah, yeah. There was this one kid, Drew, who was my was like a family friend, and he and his brother would come over and we play video games sometimes, and we were playing Dynasty Warriors. And which is like a kind of button mashing, you just kill everybody, game. Sweet little kid. As soon as he started like playing that game, he sounded like a kid possessed by a demon. He would just scream,
Oh, no.
"Die, die, 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 die,
Oh,
die,
no.
die." I'll never forget it. And then, you know, his mom the next day would be like, "Hey, he really wants to play that game with you." I'm like, I don't know if I want him to
Yeah.
play.
No, he cleaned the whole house and said yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. And then I saw him like 10 years later and he's taller than me and he's just like really he was like super tall and lanky. He looked like a real adult, you know? And then I was just like and he seemed like so calm and coordinated, and he had like
Yeah.
he's gonna go to university and I was like, Jesus, this is so weird. I wonder, okay, there's some people who've kind of vanished from the scene, right?
Sure, yeah.
For me, recently it was my buddy Aroa, ROA,
Yeah.
and for Evil Logics, it was Kev, who was kind of like a hidden legend in the aim training
He
space.
is.
Yeah, apparently
Absolutely.
the fastest or the second fastest, uh, going from like unranked to like celestial or
Yeah.
something, ever.
Yeah, his dynamic technique is just insane.
Yeah, apparently he like deleted everything, including his VODs and shit.
Yeah,
Um,
it's unfortunate.
yeah, like him, Clover, like those guys. Is
Fantasy's gone too.
Oh yeah, fantasy. Fuck, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. Remember I said that what he tweeted or he said something at some
Aim
point.
small, miss small.
Aim small, miss small. Fuck, dude. That is so
Such
good.
good I love it.
It's such good advice, man. Like that is just like perfect encapsulation of that's like a veteran saying. That somebody who's like been around for a long time and you're like new to like let's say like it's the military, like you're new to the squadron and you see this
Mhm.
guy with like a cigar and he's like got a beard stubble, he's got like one eye missing, and he's got a bunch of scars. He's just like aim small, miss small, little kid.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Are there people in the aim community that are kind of gone now that you would want people to kind of know a bit more about or that you'd
Yeah.
like to see them again?
Unfortunately, EO is one of them. From TSK. Um, they basically, I mean, it was kind of always going to happen where TSK was just kind of like a temporary project for them, and they were gonna move on. But they're done doing rank ups for TSK. no new members, anything like that, and it's really
Oh,
sad.
really? I can't join now?
Yeah,
Fuck, dude.
yeah, TSK Valve. But yeah, I really hope that people, if there's somebody that people know, um, or need to know about, it's EO because he's an innovator. Um, these competitions that he would do, the different types of benchmarks that he had, like TSK static, like people thought he was crazy for putting out a static benchmark where all the dots stay in the same spot. But then lo and behold, somebody like Xianlo recommends it for improve certain aspects of your improvement. Like when you put yourself out there, when you innovate, when you try something new, sometimes things stick and sometimes things fall flat on their face, like TSK strafes. But like when you go out of your way to try and put work out and let other people test, I mean that's the heart of innovation. That's the heart of progression in my book. So I hope people remember EO.
Yeah, and his legacy. I think we'll probably I don't know if we'll do like a separate video on it, probably. I've
Mhm.
always wanted to you and I have talked about this. I even made a tweet about it of like having some sort of archive and having like AIM historians, of
Totally. Yeah.
because there are people along the way who are gone. I don't even know if they're fucking dead at this point. Hopefully they're
Mhm.
not. But there's some people who have made an impact on me and made an impact on the community. Like
Totally.
Christmas is canceled. Dude, if you go back to Christmas is canceled's YouTube channel, you will see how far ahead of his time he was.
Mhm.
Just so far ahead of everybody else. And he was bringing up stuff that people are only bringing up today. I was just
Yeah.
messaging you about Skookie. Like every 3 months with you, I say something. I'm like, Skookie was ahead of his time, right?
Yeah.
Like, like what did I say today? Oh, when it comes to pushing smoothness, right? Everybody says to do like 15 centimeters or 10 centimeters or something. And then the thing I realized
Mhm.
today was like, you want to push smoothness at the top of the limit um, of your range. So I play
Yeah.
35 cm on aim trainers, and I was practicing on 10 cm, and I wasn't getting as much benefit as I was playing like 20 or 25 cm. And then I
Mhm.
remembered, oh, that's what Skookie said. He said, don't push more than 20 or 25% faster than your normal sensitivity. And
Yeah.
now, if you combine that with the knowledge we have now, which is like, oh, it's because of the range uh of your physical arm, right? Like 35 cm is like wrist fingertip, right? And if you only just isolate fingertip, it's not
Mhm.
as bang for your buck as including a little bit of the wrist as well.
Sure. I mean,
And
that training's gonna have its limits, especially with your style of aim.
it reminds me of like Chinese medicine, or like folk medicine, where they were doing things and they were right, but they didn't know why, you
Yeah.
know? They're like, "Oh, take this like root that's like ground into a powder and bathe it in like monkey's blood or something like that." And then you're like, "That sounds awful." And then like 100 years later or 1,000 years later, like, "Oh shit, this actually works, but not for the reason they thought." You know,
Yeah.
there's so much of that. Um, I wonder what is a trend that you see in the aiming space that you kind of disagree with currently?
Oh, Rock Cell is ridiculous. I'll see a lot of like players from like regular games, finals, Overwatch, etc., that kind of speak on the topic of aim and also dive into aim training. And I mean, all these perspectives are welcomed, and it's good to put your personal experience out there. But talking about Rock Cell can have some really detrimental effects for people. Um, I personally, I've tried Roxel for like 2 to 3 different stints of like a week at a time. It just left me feeling way worse, way more confused about how I'm supposed to improve. To me, it feels like a gimmick, and I think when people speak on it, they can really put people backwards.
Oh, really? I thought that conversation was over at this point.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember.
Maybe I'm too tapped into the YouTube algorithm because I was watching a video last week from a guy, in the finals that was talking about you can have aim assist on mouse and key by just
Oh,
using raw Excel.
Jesus Christ, I hate that shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ah. I guess there's always going to be problems perpetuating when it comes to aim.
Yeah,
There's always going to be people being like, you know, um, yeah, the like perpetuating really bad myths. I guess we'll
yeah.
talk about that maybe some other time. I definitely want to talk to you about um because I feel like it's an hour long discussion of coaches and kind of like scam coaches, you know,
Yeah,
and
there's a
people
lot of
who,
content there.
yeah, I don't know if you're comfortable like bringing up names, but I'm totally comfortable bringing up
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
I guess, yeah, we'll do it some other time. But I
Yeah,
think
yeah, 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 for sure, for
a-
sure.
as a coach, like one of the things I've had to do for quite a while is a lot of people who have been coached, at least in Apex, you know,
Mhm.
by other coaches will come to me and they're incredibly dissatisfied. They're like, I paid a lot
Yep,
of money, I did this, and then they never did any kind of follow up. That's one complaint, common complaint I hear. Another
yep.
is like I learned something, but like not really. And I
Yeah.
didn't I got like maybe some instant results, but then I didn't really like see anything after that. And then the third thing I
Mhm,
see a lot is like, oh, this guy reached a very high level, either in rank
mhm,
or in competitive. I
mhm.
won't be specific yet, but like pros will be like, oh, this pro coached me and they charged me all this money, and
Right,
I learned like nothing, you know.
totally.
And then
Yeah.
one other one is like I'm teaching people to unlearn really bad habits. Just like
Mm,
there's so many bad habits that are like being taught.
yeah.
Do you encounter any kind of like do you encounter any of the wake that bad coaches leave at all?
Oh, totally. All the time. Um, the worst is a certain person who has not yet been named, but they don't believe in edge tracking, which is just ridiculous. They have really like poor descriptions of what tension should be. Um, like movement reading is just like this mysterious thing that we don't know anything about. Like it's just there are um there are a lot of people who mean well and perpetuate really bad things at the same time. And then there are bad actors who are coaching people on bad mechanics. And unfortunately, I've seen um, the the tail end of both of those within my own coaching.
Yeah.
I think that the main thing that people should understand truly is that tension is not the boogeyman. Tension is something that everyone has. Everyone tries to talk about just removing tension as much as we can, but tension is fluid. We apply tension throughout our entire arm. You can feel tension in your shoulder. You can feel tension in the top of your forearm, the inside of your forearm. You can feel tension in your wrist. There's tension everywhere, and we shift tension based on what we read, how we are aiming. We don't just have to remove it and use spacebar to fire in game. I mean, if we did that, then maybe we would be successful. But we know that we can enhance our aim with a tool that is tension. And I just wish that people would um, not speak on it if they don't know what they're saying, if they don't have the experience to back it up.
Yeah. I think I like the fact that people are like making bold claims, right? But then
Mhm.
but then it's tough because some part of me wants to empathize with them because I say things that are fucking stupid all the time, right?
Yeah, it
And I'm
happens.
very like
I do,
public
I do
about
all
it.
the time as well.
But when it happens consistently over a long period of
Hmm.
time, that to me
Yeah.
is like it's like delusional, it's harmful, you know,
Hmm.
and kind of ridiculous. And one of the tough things about coaching is like you don't really know the value of a coach unless you've actually spent time with them, you know?
Yeah.
And the easiest way to, I guess, like address the value of a coach is like, okay, what at least in competitive apex is like, okay, what was their placement before the coach and what was their
Hmm.
placement after, right?
Yeah.
With
Right.
like, I think with 100 Thieves, like this is the highest they've ever reached in terms of like placement, right? For
Yeah.
like LAN. right? It's like, all right, I did my job. Like I got them, I bumped them up from like seventh to sixth, you know, with the
Absolutely.
possibility of like
And you
them like winning land.
they're all together and you sent them off with excellent help.
Yeah, yeah. That one I think about quite a lot, which is like um there was like the four great emperors of Rome. One of them was Hadrian, who he adopted, or he had somebody else adopt Marcus Aurelius, and Marcus Aurelius was considered like the last good emperor of Rome.
Mm,
And the issue
yeah.
with like Marcus Aurelius, everyone talks about him because he was like probably the most famous of those emperors. But
Mhm.
Marcus Aurelius didn't find somebody to take over after him that was
Mm,
good, and then his
right.
empire collapsed, right?
Yeah.
And I think Hadrian was like much wiser about it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you just got to make sure that someone is, you know, like I'm leaving the empire in good hands. So right now, like
Mhm.
Serf is mostly talking about Nihil. I wanted to make sure that he was taken over. Like when Hundred Thieves approached me, they were just like, "Can you coach?" I'm like, "Up until land,
Yeah.
it's gonna destroy me physically and mentally, like coaching from the other side of the world." But yeah, yeah. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. Like making sure that they're doing okay now. They're getting a little bit better, you know. Um,
Yeah. Did you see the Evan pyramid clip?
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
That was so and it looks like they're having fun, which I think is really cool too.
yeah. I think you're gonna start to see Evan more confident than he's ever been, you know,
Good.
and not just as an anchor, but in other ways as well, which I won't be specific about. Hopefully that's the
Mm,
case, and I think that will be the case. You know, like are still in contact and stuff.
yeah.
Um, what is okay? So non-aim stuff. What is
Mhm.
a show, video game, movie, whatever that
Mm,
like if you can book whatever, if there's something that you can get people people's eyes on it, what is something you would
yeah.
like recommend them?
Sure. Um, Break. I love this question. Um, the show is 11/22/63, which is the day that Kennedy was assassinated, which is a taboo topic, I'm sure. But it's about time travel. It's James Franco, and he like goes back in time, but he also falls in love, and like it's this whole drama about the different conspiracy theories behind that whole event. Just a really captivating story, and I think it's really captivating because the idea of time travel, seeing the world as it was so many years ago, has always been really interesting to me. Um, and then if you haven't seen him, it's old, but it's really good. Back to the Future, the original Back to the Future. So, I would say if you're watching anything based on my recommendation, watch some time travel stuff. I think it's pretty fun.
Ooh. Yeah, I love the first show that you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it was on Hulu originally,
Yes.
and I
Hmm.
read the book. I think the show's better than the book, and I rarely say that, but yeah, it was just so good. Like the acting was phenomenal. There's like a real innocence to like their love, you know.
Yes.
Phenomenal show.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
really captivating story.
yeah, the challenges of like time travel is always really interesting, and then the promise of time travel is probably the thing that really makes people excited, which is like the possibility of like trying again, like a second attempt. You know, if I had
Mm.
the knowledge that I had back then, you know, what would I do differently? Like,
Yeah.
would I,
Definitely.
is that the thing that appeals to you?
I don't want to sound insidious when I say this, but the idea of coming back to a previous world where you have the knowledge of everything that's going to happen going forward, I think it's really cool just how you would play that. Like, would I bet on sports or would I like that's kind of pathetic to say, but I just think that that aspect of like, knowledge is power. What what would somebody who goes back do with that power? But then I think just like from a historical standpoint, seeing the world as it was, how people interacted with each other, the way cars and houses and buildings and people, how they looked and interacted, I think is really cool. So, um, to me, that's what kind of captivates me about time travel.
Yeah, like the human choices, right? Like
Yeah.
that's interesting to you. And that's very similar to what you're talking about with games like Survivor on TV.
Yeah.
You know, like what would they do in that situation?
Right.
It's one of the reasons like I love writing, right? Because it's just it's like why that's my job is because I try to explore those choices is really fun, you know, and
Absolutely.
kind of
Yeah.
developing characters out of those choices. The interesting thing about time travel is like one thing I've been trying to apply lately is I I kind of mentally time travel to the present, if that makes any I know this sounds really weird, but I do this thing where like, okay, 10 years from now, I'm going to look at the space and time, right? Like the moment that I'm currently in, and I'm going to look back on it fondly. And then I look back on it
Mhm.
fondly in that moment, right?
Yeah.
And I look at the light and I'm like, there's something for me, it's like there's really specific things, especially atmosphere. I'll be
Mm.
sitting at this cafe that I adore, you know, and I'm sitting there and I look at the light and how it goes through the leaves. And I'm just like, man, like life is good. And I think about like, and I try to capture as much of that scene in that moment for the
Yeah.
future, you know, and that I
Yeah.
can just look at it as like, as if it's a magical time. So I'm enjoying both the present and kind of giving myself a little present for the future as well.
That's powerful. And I mean, I'm sure you'll thank your future self is thankful that you took the time to take all that in.
Yeah.
Those moments are special.
Or hopefully I'm in another moment where I don't have to think about the
Yeah.
past, you
Right.
know?
Right.
Yeah. I think that's the side effect of that. I keep thinking I'm gonna be looking back at the past more, but then I do sometimes, but most of the time, because I'm constantly looking for those moments in that moment, you know, I just find myself being way more present than I ever thought.
Mm.
What do you think is the biggest change to your aim? Like, what is the thing that has like benefited you the most? Some people say sleep, some people say a schedule, some people say like specializing in one thing.
Before I jump into that question, is it cool if I run to the restroom real quick? I'm sorry to
No,
leave you in silence for a second.
go ahead.
Okay, be right back.
I'm gonna do ads then. All right. Well, Serp has gone to the bathroom. I'm gonna do an ad for a company that has not sponsored me, but I think I should just sponsor. I should highlight them a lot. They are PMM, which stands for Piranha Mouse Mods. I just got their SP1 pad, and I think it's discontinued because they're creating a new set of pads, both control, speed, that sort of a thing, and a really interesting one, which is like a hard pad, but it's like a mix of cloth and glass. I don't exactly know, but I had the SP1, which is their speed one, and it is by far the best pad I have ever used. It usually takes me a day or two to kind of figure out if I like the pad or not. This one I found instantly. I fell in love with it instantly. If you are really into tracking, if you like to involve a little bit of your wrist and your fingertips in your aim, I think this is like the perfect mouse for you. Um, it's a beautiful pad. The stitching is amazing. I haven't checked out their other pads, but Piranha Mice PMM, they do a lot of modded mice where they take a mouse shape and then they cut the weight in half. So let's take a mouse that's like 65 grams, they cut it down to like 28 grams. You can get your own custom mouse. You can ask for a specific shape if you message them. And every single person I know who has picked up a PMM mouse, either like the Pulse or the Pulse W, every single person, including pros, has fallen in love with the mouse. It's for many of them, it's become their main mouse. So I'm not sponsored by Piranha, but if they want to sponsor me, cool. But I think they need to be known more. They are a German company, as everybody knows. The Germans are really good at engineering. They're incredibly passionate as a company. They're really easy to get a hold of and definitely worth the price. I think I got this pad for like $80, $85, including the shipping, and it feels like a $200 pad. It feels like something I would use forever. It's better than the Raiden. Um, I like the Raiden, the Artisan Raiden, but I just think this is like most bang for your buck, the best speed pad available. I'm constantly like placing my hand on it, and because it just feels so good. Yeah, PMM, check them out.
They're the real deal.
They're the real deal. I was thinking about like creating a Instagram account. Welcome back, Surf. I was thinking about creating an Instagram account with me and my girlfriend. Like one where it's just like couple Instagram account where we do like couple content. But then the other one I was thinking about doing was um doing fake ads for
Yeah,
for
I like
brands
it.
and maybe for
Yeah,
real brands and until I get a real brand to sponsor me, and then also doing
yeah.
fake ads for fake brands. And just
You'll be the onion of ads.
yeah,
That's
but
awesome.
I don't want it to be like really high end, ads like where I show off
Right.
graphic design. It's just like me
Yeah.
and just like, hey guys, this is
Yeah. You
you
guys
know,
remember the memory cards from PlayStation 2?
ex-
Well, there's a memory card now for your PC. Here it is.
exactly. Doing like, and I was really thinking about like doing a lot of retro shit where I'm doing
Yeah.
like an advertisement for like, hey, this is like a wireless telephone. I don't know if you guys know what this is like, you know, made by Razer
Yeah.
or whatever. And
That's awesome.
yeah, and just doing like ones that are like really like mundanes. Like I got this mug from IKEA or something stupid.
Yeah.
And
Check out this door handle. The top of the line. Listen, if you're gonna get a door handle, you need this to be the Vespucci door handle. The locks on this never been broken into before, ever.
you like
I love
open it on camera, like, oh shit, never mind. My bad.
it.
Oopsies. Yeah, I think
Oops, you sent me the wrong one.
oops. I definitely think that would be a fun one. I could crank out like maybe 100 of those in a couple of days because they're like 20
A
seconds
hundred?
each.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if they're like 20 seconds each, right? And you
Sure.
you do them for like 30 or 40 seconds. Let's say you do a minute of content, you cut it down to 20,
Mm.
right? And then it's like 100 minutes, But
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not that. I'm sure it's going to be like here I'm going to
I
be
mean,
able
the
to do it.
the editing would kind of be tedious, but yeah.
But editing would be pretty straightforward. You can just import everything. It's all cutting at that point, right? It's not um
True.
and I think by the time I get to the 100th one or even the 50th one, I'll be able to say everything in like one go, you know.
Let me
But
know if you need a guest review. I'll review a dumbbell or something for you.
well,
That's awesome.
I wanted to do a faceless one where I'm only showing like the bottom half of
Mm.
my face or like either my lips or
Hmm.
just and lower or just like my hands, like on a table
Sure. Hmm.
and just keeping it that way, keeping it like really simple. And
Yeah.
I always thought like the best form of reviews are if you like this, you would like this, right?
Yes.
Or if you don't like
I
this,
can agree with
this is
that.
not for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus like 9 out of 10, like that doesn't help me,
Yeah.
right?
Who are the nine?
Yeah. The
Which of these dentist people didn't recommend the Colgate toothpaste?
yeah, I'll do like an ad for corporate surf. It's like it's my
That's it.
friend Surf, like you can hire for coaching, but just a cool guy. Definitely. He's got really nice glasses and has a smooth voice to talk to if you ever want somebody to talk to. And then you can do another one. Is like, this is my friend John. If you're in if you're in this zip code at this location, then
Just
just doing it like
love it.
maybe I can call it review anything, you know?
Yeah.
And then I'll do
Have fun.
yeah, just have fun with it.
Have fun with it. Yeah. I love
Yeah.
it.
Um, I there are other things I want to talk to you about, but I think that's kind of it. So,
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to talk about at all?
Well, let me ask you,
Hmm.
what motivated you to want to start this podcast? What And then from that, where do you think no, yeah, let's keep it to one question. What made it motivated you to start the podcast?
To get the adoration of really buff dudes. No, I'm kidding. The the I just thought it'd be fun to hang out with some friends and then see where it goes. And then there's some people I've always wanted to talk to that I don't really have context for, you know?
Yeah,
And I think having some sort of context that allows them to hop on a call would be really is like cool. And then there's some people that I'm genuinely curious to talk to and get their info. But then there's a lot of things that like I know that there are ideas that you have, there are things that you've said that I really wish people um, got to hear. Like a lot of the things that you brought up
mm,
today, we've talked about before,
yeah,
and I just want them to hear it from your mouth, you know. And I think
that's
it's
so
always
cool.
valuable.
Yeah. Well,
And
it's
I
an
want an
honor to have been a
archive.
part.
You know?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I want an archive
Well,
of.
it's certainly been an honor to be a first part of this process. I think you're going to do fantastic things with this podcast, and to the audience listening, Valve is like the goat. I think in your Twitter bio, it's shepherd to goats. Like it's real. Valve has, you're very empathetic, you're very smart,
I
but
am
you
pathetic.
okay. And he's very funny. But yeah, I genuinely appreciate this experience and this opportunity. Happy to be a part of the first one.
Thank you. So I'm gonna put your links. If you could like text me or message me your links and stuff,
Sure. Yeah.
and then I'll just put it in the bio. Is there anything that you have going on that you want people to know about? Yeah, anything you got going on?
Um, the Emo Aim tournament, I think is gonna be fun if you guys play tracking specifically, like on Kovacs. Just give it some runs, see if it's for you. And tune into their stream because I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. The thing that I need to say more, is go be good at something that you care about. If you guys are listening, whether it's playing Kovacs and esport games, or if it's like you know collecting fire alarms or whatever it is that you care about. Be good at it. Be passionate and pursue it to the fullest.
Wow. You heard it here, folks, from my friend Corporate Surf. Get good, but with passion. Thank you so much, Surf.
Amen.
You're the go.
Thank you.